Well, good afternoon, all, and I thank you very much for inviting me back. I have to tell you just what happened about 5 minutes ago. I'm walking down the hall with Audrey and Leslie, and we bypass a conference room, a big plaque, and it says, the George Ross Meeting Room. I'm beginning to think maybe I'm second fiddle here. I was asked, and George said no, so I said, let's get the other sidekick on, or henchwoman, thank you very much. As a matter of fact, and thank you again for the award that I had received in Long Beach. It was very exciting and appreciated very, very much. I was actually able to, and it was a wonderful seminar, I was able to meet, which I just asked about, Jody Goover, who is a guru of yoga. And I thought she was excellent because she got on stage first and she said, we're going to do an exercise. Can everybody just take their seats and face forward and close your eyes? And she has mastered the art of public speaking. She gave a whole speech, everybody had their eyes closed, nobody was looking, everybody was doing something else. So I thought she was a genius. Genius, I think. But anyway, I stand here today because I am a woman who runs an important division of someone else's empire, which is, of course, Donald Trump. And I run it just the way an entrepreneur does, like all of you, with my own profit and loss statements, my own long-term strategic agenda, my own ideas about what it will take to make the business work better, and my own risk-to-reward ratio. Donald Trump rarely, if ever, tells me what to do. And if he does ask me, I tell him. And I also give him my reasons for doing so. If he has a problem with what I'm doing, he'll ask me, and we'll have a conversation. But that's the way we both like it. That's what makes our working relationship work, and work very well. We understand each other, we respect each other, and on all important things, he and I see eye to eye, most of the time. So far, at least, I've been at the Trump Organization for 10 years. I think I'm doing something right. I stand here today at this podium as a woman who has risen to a position of prominence in a notorious male-dominated industry, the golf industry. And I stand here today because as a female executive, I was given a highly visible role on a television show that turned out to be immensely popular. My visibility on the show increased dramatically, as many of you know, with no doubt recall from the first season, after I made a decision to take a strong personal stand against the female contestants employing their sexuality to win the first 4 tasks. I took that strong stand and fully expected to take some heat for it, because I felt in the very core of my being that this sort of sexual display, even in sport, which much of it was simply not the most appropriate or effective way to qualify for a position of a leadership in today's hyper-competitive business world. After I took that moral stand, enormous numbers of viewers wrote in, whether it be my email or try to get through by telephone. Most of them, of course, women, or all of them women, congratulating me on the decision that I made to alert these exceedingly smart individuals to the critical fact that while sex may be a cute way to win a couple of small battles, it is surely not the way to win the war in the long run. I stand here today at this podium because, as luck would have it, about 10 years ago, at the ripe old age of 14, everybody knows my age now. I'm just saying, articles come out. Carolyn Kepcher, comma, 35, comma. God, that my weight and size doesn't go next to that. But I did, in fact, 10 years ago, at 25, I've had the good fortune to become Donald Trump's apprentice. And in real life, as opposed to on this reality show. Fully a decade before The Apprentice was even a thought in Mark Burnett's eye. I participated in a process that uncannily foreshadowed the arduous experience the contestants undergone on the show. And at the age of 23, I had resigned from a good, solid job as manager of a restaurant at the prestigious Beekman Tower Hotel in downtown Manhattan. And I became the director of sales and marketing at a rundown golf club in Westchester that was just emerging from bankruptcy. Now you think I'm crazy now. When I first stepped into that rundown old clubhouse, the ground floor of which had been recently flooded, It had been taken over by the bank that held the mortgage on the property and was in the process of being put into shape to be sold off to the highest bidder. When I interviewed for the job as sales and managing director of this golf club, I had never played a round of golf in my life. I knew nothing about the golf industry. I knew nothing about running a golf club. But I did have the experience in a relevant field. I had run restaurants. I worked in various capacities in country clubs. Let's just say I knew my way around the hospitality and food service industries and was looking to make a major step up in the field. During that job interview, I met my first mentor. And mentors are not easily, you can't find them very easy. And there are some people out there where I've asked who your mentor is, and luckily it's their mother or their father, but it's a little sad, I find, when people cannot find a mentor. So I encourage you all to try to find a mentee, we call it. Please, go out and find a mentee, because I think it was critical for me in what I've done. Anyway, this gentleman's name was John Murray, and he was a senior executive Beck Summit, the management company that I had worked at prior to working for the Trump Organization. My job there was to work with John to get this rundown piece of property into something that was sellable, operable, and be able to sell it off to the highest bidder. No, I didn't know Donald Trump was in the picture at the time. When I interviewed, John didn't care that I knew absolutely nothing about golf. He didn't care that I've never worked at a golf club, but he saw my enthusiasm. But I had something even more important than enthusiasm. I recognized, as he recognized, that in this distressed property, I had been granted an opportunity, not a threat. This is the heart and soul of being a developer. Seeing things from what they are not today, but what they can be tomorrow, the next day, the next year, even the next decade. The fact that the club had been so run down so far meant we had practically nowhere to go but up. I guess that was the positive. During my first year on the job, John encouraged me to master a wide variety of management skills, things that people don't like to do: budgeting, inventories, controls. Some were particular to the golf industry, some was just particular to service and typical hospitality, which stood me in good standing for when I met my next mentor, Donald Trump. That day that Donald drove up to this long driveway to look at the property, I had about two hours notice, knowing he was coming onto the property. And at first, of course, I thought it was a joke. The bank called, we have a prospective buyer. You may know him, it's Donald Trump. Okay, we'll wait, okay. I'll be right there. But he drove up with just his driver, and he searched that property. He walked that property, and he must have been there for about 3 hours and asked me about 100 or 200 questions. And when I first met him, I swear he was 9 feet tall. He's actually 6'4", but I swear he was 9 feet that day. But it was a wonderful opportunity because it was my first opportunity to watch a brilliant developer size up a situation. So as John and I escorted him around the guys, I could actually see him looking at the property's present state, and in his mind, he already saw the vision of Trump National Golf Club that very first day, and it was amazing that we were a part of this. So, as it happened, when it came time for us to make a presentation to Donald, outlining the particulars of the property, John Murray had moved on to another job. And so I was fortunate enough to be chosen by Beck Summit, the management company, as well as the bank, to present the pitch to Donald Trump.